What's going on, Master Duel fans? James here again. Despite the lateness of second stage, we ended up getting 2,124 points, and I said to myself, you know what? Maybe some small points is a lot better than nothing. At the same time, we just pretty much did what we need to do, get the extra tickets, for which, by the way, we will open up the packs after this deck profile. The deck of choice I took of all decks will be Vernusylph Naturia. Originally, there were plans in which, in terms of Synchro decks in general, is where even though Centurion happens to be the best Synchro deck of the format, I figured I want to try something that's like outside of linear, wacky plays, outside of the best decks, because in terms of trying out different decks from the get-go for the Synchros, it's just White Forest are having a bit of a struggle due to Bistio's existence and Droll and Lockbird at the same time. Red Dragon Archfiend decks in general, I did not test that enough, and then Atlantean Synchro, I didn't test enough. So I kept scratching off things in terms of making Synchro decks in general, and I figured, why not Vernusylph Naturia from the get-go? Well, to tell you the truth though, one of the guys legit told me about trying out this Naturia engine, because at first I really wasn't sold on the main deck version of Naturia, only because of zero experience. So I figured, you know what, get to the crafting system and see if it does not change anything on those pulls and ratios. And apparently, wow, is all I can say. Deck profile for you guys. Now, the name of the game of Naturia, they are all about reacting from your opponent's moves. A series of earth monsters by any means necessary, which means Vernusylphs can easily help out Naturias from the get-go. Now, deck profile for you guys. And I'm going to start off with the Vernusylphs / Naturia / non-engine. So this is something you may want to pay attention to. So we're going to start with a non-engine first. 3 Droll, 1 Ghost Spell, Feather Duster, Foolish Goods, Talent, Thrust, Call By, Blizzard, and 3 Imperm. Droll is by far the best one because of White Forest / Centurions, nothing more, nothing less. And then the 3 Imperm, it's by far the best one. You literally don't want to lose to Tactics and or Thrust from the get-go. Bell puts in serious work because of Bistios, nothing more, nothing less. And then the rest of the non-engine, it's self-explanatory from the get-go. Blizzard came up clutch versus Centurion 1 times too many, hitting their stand-up to make sure they cannot Synchro on my turn from the get-go. For the Vernusylphs, 1 Flowering Field, 1 Thawing Mountain, 1 Awakening Forest. I played 2 last time, and I figured the second copy literally never came up, so I pretty much cut the 1 extra just to fit it a 40 main, and the 1 lone copy did its work. 2 Flourishing Hills, 2 Misting Ceilings, Vera, Full Bloom, Corolla, 2 Changing Seasons, 1 Flower Buds. Pretty much straightforward in every Vernusylph list in general. Now, for the Naturias, 1 Vane and 2 Sunflowers. Sunflower is your monster negate, while Vane is your spell trap negate. Normally, You think to yourself that how would you keep your negates alive and well if you don't have the cards to tribute? That is a good question. The 3 Camellia can outright help you get your extra negates going off from Sunflower and Vayne as well, because Camellia's text says if you were to tribute a Naturia or tribute a monster just because of a Naturia's effects of sorts, monster effect, instead of tribute, Camellia allows you to mill 2 so you can get your additional Naturia effects for free. So free negates all from Sunflower, free negates all Vayne by just milling 2, or if for whatever the reason you have open space with the 3 Cricket, which I do play by the way, the Cricket lets you mill the 2, and then if for whatever the reason your opponent's highest attack monster is on board, E-Telly for 2 Naturia is absolutely insane as it is. Also, shoutouts to the 3rd copy of Mole Cricket that I crafted, and shock surprisingly, it was a royal from out of nowhere, which is huge. Oh, and Bamboo Shoot. Card is crazy, shutting off too many back row decks. So much. Also, pulled the Royal Rare Bamboo Shoot out of the packs. Card is ridiculousness, especially if for whatever the reason Bamboo Shoot gets outed like no tomorrow. If you somehow manage to find a way to reset the tribute summon off from Bamboo Shoot, you just essentially go Vernusylph Rabbit to pick up Bamboo Shoot from grave to hand, reborn any Naturia that isn't Bamboo Shoot, and then tribute your reborn Naturia for the same Bamboo Shoot, and unless if they have Solemn Judgment to stop the summon, their back row gets completely shut off from the get-go. 3 Blessing, not once per turn Naturia extension, or quick Synchro off from Naturia Blessing. Don't count the Fusion Summon part because this is Synchro Cup. The quick extension off from Naturia literally happens every single game, and there was not a single time where quick summoning off from Blessing did not come up once throughout the whole entire event. And then the 1 Sacred Tree in TCG land. At the time this video is recorded, it's at 1 for a reason, because the graveyard effect to search for a Naturia that isn't Sacred Tree is not once per turn, cards broke, self-explanatory. And then the on-field effect of Sacred Tree, where you get to tribute to E-Telly a level 4 or lower earth, plant, or insect by tributing the opposite types. That comes up in every niche situation if for some reason this card gets hard open throughout the whole entire game. And then extra deck. For the Naturias, Beast, Barkion, Landois, the Holy Trinity, basic, nothing more, nothing less. For the 4s, Armory Arm, Mortronic Earphone. Earphone came up at least like once throughout the whole entire Synchro progression. It's only because changing it to the tuner is nice, so you can keep on Synchro climbing from the get-go. And on top of that, Earphone lets you target 1 face-up monster, well, Synchro to be specific, hook it up, and once hooked up, it's essentially Cyber Twin Dragon, which is amazing. Also, isn't it kind of ironic about Earphone that it's basically Luna and Leo? The Morptronics, of course. If you know, you know. Armades, cards goated, shouldn't need to say anything. Goyo, shout outs to Edison Times, made this the majority of the times because big beat stick. Orient Dragon cards insane. You know those insane Barons or Chaos Angels, assuming that Angel does not make it with a light, of course, in terms of synchro summoning shenanigans. But anytime I see Barons, Chaos Angels, or any other synchro decks in general, that's impossible for me to out in terms of can't be killed by card effects by any means necessary. Orient Dragon can actually outright outplay and gets over it because first chance, it's synchro summon. Target one synchro monster your opponent controls, banish it. And it's mandatory, which is nothing more, nothing less out of it. HTS Syhemoth card is absolutely insane because anything that put up with that can't be targeted or killed by opponent's card effects by any means necessary, HTS Syhemoth can outright outplay your opponent's monsters. Most case, after damage calc, when this card battles an opponent's monster, you can banish that monster, also banish this. But just remember about Orient Dragon, if you use your Vernusylph effects, do not synchro into this card throughout the current turn that your Vernusylph effects happen. I literally did this once, and for whatever the reason, I thought for sure that Orient Dragon was an Earth. Turns out he's a Wind. So remember, if you use Vernusylph effects, the turn, anytime they resolve, do not synchro into this card. You will literally lose Orient's effects from the get-go. Stardust Charge Warrior, draw one is nice. Desert Locusts, the quick synchro offer Naturia blessings into this card. This did not happen a single time, but to tell you the truth, the Desert Locusts, in terms of the turn player to discard one, essentially the opponents, if I trigger that on their turn, it's nice and all that, but Desert Locusts, to be quite honest, this made me think of it could have been something else for a synchro. Samurai Destroyer, Big Beat Stick, Stardust. This was made like once in case of them having board breakers that involves destruction in it. Stardust comes out clutch with the saving grace. Scrap Dragon, it's Earth, outs, floodgates that are illegal in Synchro Cup, and in Leo, highest of the highest beaters of synchros. Shouldn't need to say more when it comes to the anti-target, nothing more, nothing less, unless it's my main phase 2. Onwards to the pack opening. And just to remember about what comes in the pack. Okay, so you got penguins, plenty tuners, and then you got some synchrons as well. So it looks like penguins, synchrons, tuners of any variation. So let's see what's up with the tickets. Lost Out, Nettles, Penguin Cleric, okay, upgrade, I like that. Junk Dragonlet, Don't Slip, the Dogs of War, Field Spell. When either player draws a tuners, more than one, For their normal draw, in their draw phase, they can reveal that cards, more than one, they draw 2. If your opponent draws by this effect, you lose 2,000 life, and if you do, send this card to the graveyard. Okay, so one-time use. That's something. Another Penguin Cleric and Mental Seeker. Lost Out Buten, Penguin Knight. Also, the life and times of Penguin Knight in 2025. I once saw this in some tier limit variants in any shape or form, and Penguin Knight is straight up absurd throughout the tier limit format. As an old school card of Penguin Knight, the case about this card says, when this card is sent directly from your deck to the graveyard by an effect of a card controlled by your opponent, unite your graveyard cards and your own deck, shuffle them, and form a new deck. Basically, if your opponent, for whatever the reason, mills this card, it resets literally everything that you have, and it combines to reset a new deck. The Synchro Junk Mail, never saw this one. Level 1 Earth Warrior Tuner, hey, Vernusylphs, and Rota Target. 1-for-1, Jack in the Hand, too many applications. A Synchro monster that used this card cannot be killed by battle. I don't know why didn't I think of this in the first place, but I don't know. If this card is in your graveyard, accept the turn that it was sent there, break through skill clause, and you control a Synchro monster with Warrior, Synchron, or Stardust in its original name, free special this, but banish it whenever it leaves. And that effect is once per turn. Synchro Magnet, Royal Penguin's Garden. Two Changer Synchrons, one of which is glossed out. Bold Penguin. Don't slip. The Dogs of War once again. Fishborg Archer, Penguin Cleric. Yoko Tuner, Penguin Brave. Literally never saw Yoko Tuner. Level 1 Earth Beast Tuner, Vernusylphs. Nice. Upon normal summon, you can special 1 tuner from hand or graveyard, but negate its effects. So it's literally Junk Synchron, but any tuner, regardless of level, and effects negated. Nice. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Not only I grace you guys with the Synchro Cup deck profile, but Synchro Cup ticket pack openings. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hit that bell so you can keep your notifications updated. And be sure to use my campaign code in the description below so we can gather the leftover prizes for future content. I thank you all for tuning in, and I shall see you all next time.